Wilson, and this is my 2007 Freelander 2 GS TD4 manual. I've had it 5 or 6 years. Has a strange history. Originally was sold new in England, and a previous owner brought it to Australia with him, which makes it rather unique because there's not many manual ones, if any, sold in Australia. Australians generally preferring automatics with their four-wheel drives. I love this car. I'm quite happy with it. No plans to get rid of it, despite its miles getting rather high now. Hence the need to, or the want to upgrade a few things like the stereo. Now, I'm by no means a professional stereo installer. I've had a fair bit of experience with restoring cars, working on cars over the years. I have several old British cars in another shed, which maybe I'll show off at a later date. I don't consider this a blow-by-blow guide by any means, but it's just how I did it on my particular vehicle. And you may find that your later model, differently spec Land Rover may be slightly different. So this is what comes in the box. The head unit, obviously, being the main component. A new cover for the top of the dash. I'm not sure why that's needed, maybe slightly different shape. Anyway, I guess we'll find out. Of course, inside the box, various connectors, GPS antenna, and these little covers that go in holes on the front of the head unit. Strangely, there's a 128 gigabyte SIM card in there as the memory. I don't know whether that can be replaced with a regular SIM card to run a phone. As I probably mentioned earlier, there is no instructions with this. All the connections for the head unit basically are there. This connection apparently connects straight to the car's loom, existing plug. This connection being for the hazard switch and lock unlock buttons, which are now incorporated in the front of this unit. Not sure what these are for. Perhaps they're for a different model of Land Rover or something where the CD slot is retained. This particular one, the CD slot is not retained. Notice there's no pin-out diagrams of any sort. Well, some of the wires are actually labelled, but it would be nice to have a pin-out so we could know what each of these actually does. There doesn't seem to be any aux input at all, so it means that there's no way to connect the existing Land Rover center console plug for the aux channel into this unit. I guess I'll explore later and find out whether that's the case. So, time to begin removing the old unit. Put the CB radio mic out of the way. I find these tools here, little plastic ones from your favourite auto parts store, a little better for removing these things than screwdrivers and such like. They're just more likely to not do damage. I can never remember whether it's a T25 or a T3. T20, it's a T20. to take this out first, which is an absolute bugger. Not sure I didn't snap it in the process, but anyway. That bugger was hard to get out too. There are usual faceplate, and don't forget the plug behind here, which is just a simple push there. And there's the old Zonrich unit, and it never really sat very well in the dash. You can probably see here, I may put a close up in, I'll see. The holes are not brilliantly aligned with the dash, and they never, that's, I remember now, I left one screw out because I simply couldn't get it in. Take the old radio out. Pretty easy job. Don't know where I'm going to put my CB mic holder yet. I'll figure that out later. Not too important. Old radio slides out. And do the two plugs on the back if I can get them to shift. Never. So what I think I might do next is start plugging in our plugs here in the back, and then we'll plug it into the car direct, just leave it loose in the dash and check if it powers up and if it looks good before I proceed with tidying it up and finishing putting vents and other components in. Hopefully these are fairly self-explanatory. 2, 3, 4, 5, as I've already mentioned, there's no instructions at all, so that one looks like it goes there. So swapping over the vents. So obviously this front panel, the new one, doesn't come with the vents and the controls, so we have to take them off our existing one. And I've already loosened the vents there because I replaced the little knobs that always get broken, and these here, so I'll swap them across. Hoping I'm doing this right. These are the little control wheels for the face vents, just shut them off. And they're a bit reluctant to come out. Probably a good thing in some ways. Don't want to break them. got it. Oh, that worked. Repeat the act. Leave the top one out. Like that. A bit of pressure on the back. And then leave the bottom one. I think that's the go. And there we go. That one came out so much easier because I knew I was doing. Well, sort of. And they snap in nice. Now, these are labelled conveniently left and right. The only problem is I forgot to check whether that meant left or right is sitting in the car, so I'm going to assume it's sitting in the car. As soon as you know how to fit, you know, that's it. That fits. And our vent is off, open, up and down, yep. So the other side. Down. Lever here. Check operation again. Well, I decided to go for broke and put it in. Click it in. And get it going. That would be my aerial plug. Hopefully it comes out on the video. And the GPS one, which I'm going to have to unplug that again. GPS is the bottom one. Okay. It's somewhat difficult to get in here and do these plugs with the steering wheel and crap in the way. Let's tuck those two back in there. And the reverse sensor, so they can go, not reverse sensor, reverse camera, they can go last because it's a little short. Sorry viewers. But it's tight. And I haven't got a lovely assistant here to help with the camera work. So we struggle. That seems to fit alright. So the last thing to fit is the reverse camera. Maybe which is very fun to hold again. There's the cable. Where's the other end? And this is the bit where I pause the video because I realise there's something I forgot. Although I will say it looks pretty good there. But yeah, there's something I forgot was to transfer the clips. So I forgot, there's one more thing we have to transfer across besides the vents. These little clips. Hopefully you can see them better there. They're not included obviously for some reason. So 50 cents, but anyway. Probably better that we use genuine ones anyway. Yep, I'll switch them across now. Looks like I found the trick to get them to release without ruining anything, hopefully. Try this one might be easier to see what's going on. How come that one came up so easy? Right, no, we're not over yet. There we go. All present and accounted for, I hope. So I'm back at refitting again. I won't show you the struggles again because it's not necessary. And you all go to sleep. Vents in, yep, that's a good sound. That's a very good sound. There are two screws here. Fits pretty good. At least as good as the factory part anyway. I figured out why we have two different covers, as in this one the new one, and that one the original one. For some very strange reason, they made it that they don't line up. Also the new one seems to sit a bit higher, a bit thicker in cross section there. So I'd say there must be a good reason, so we'll just assume we need to use the new one and put it in. And now the final piece, I hope. Doesn't look terrible. I'm going to start this car and move it out. It'll still go. So I had to refilm this bit because my first attempt, YouTube whinged because I'd played songs that had rights on them. So we push the key in, and it fires up, and it's telling me my door's open. And oops, I was in the settings menu before, so just go home again. So there it is. Everything's pretty much working, except, unfortunately, if I turn the ignition on, reverse, nothing, nada. I'm not sure why. I don't know what the heck is going on with that. The themes, sorry, was the next thing I was going to mention. You cannot select a Freelander 2. There's just all sorts of randoms in there. Now yours might be a newer version or something, but yeah, there's definitely no Freelanders there. So that's kind of disappointing. I don't know whether I can get away with playing Uptown Girl for a second. Oops. Okay. So there you go. That bit's working. Bluetooth should be working. I might have Bluetooth off on my phone. But anyway, it did pair, it did work. Radio works, although it isn't tuned. Navigation works when you put Google in. I rewiped it so it won't be in there. Reinstall maps, yep. So yeah, it other than the steering wheel controls as well. Volume, next track does work when you're on music. Hopefully I'll get away with that bit. Yeah. So overall, if I can resolve this reversing issue, I'll be happy, because I can't really live without a reverse camera and sensors after having it for so long. It's kind of a downgrade to the car. Everything's wired correctly as far as I can tell. It's just like the CAN bus system isn't talking properly. So I'm going to have to do some research and see what I can make of it. But for now, I'm going to leave it in the car, because I can't test anything out of the car, and I'll just have to learn to reverse old school again. Yeah, so that's where we're at today. Thanks.